Hello and welcome, this is Noah with Nomad Gaming, and thank you for joining us for this video about the Marvel Champions LCG. Marvel Champions is a living card game produced and distributed by Fantasy Flight Games, and if you are looking for a place to stay up to date with your content, including deck building, strategy, and gameplay, please hit that subscribe button so you can join our channel and stay up to date with what's coming down the pipeline. Today we are going to be featuring the aspect cards of the game. We're going to talk about the different ones that we have, and of course the game has four different aspects. The first being aggression, which focuses on things like attacking and damage. We've got justice, which manages our threat highly efficiently. We've got protection, which we're going to speak about more today, but that emphasizes defense and healing. And then leadership, which is sort of a Swiss Army knife that relies on support characters and other cards to help us get the job done. Today's video, we're going to go through the protection aspect. We're going to talk about each of the different types of cards, talk about the pros and cons of some of the different cards in those types, and then we're going to distill this all down to a little bit of a ranking to get what I believe is going to be a top 3 at the end of the video. Let's start off with our allies and talk about what we have. Here, the new Iron Fist is incredibly useful, and he has the ability to stun and effectively deal 3 damage in a protection shell. This is just huge, and it really helps us bide our time in a lot of different setups to get ready to go. He plays great in Black Panther, Spider-Man, Captain America, and of course the new Doctor Strange deck. Really a lot of fun. Want to get him on the table. Gonna find him in a lot of builds, I believe. Definitely a top card in the aspect. We've also very interested in Luke Cage. He is just solid value for what we've got. Decent stat line, huge health, comes with a toughness, lets us take a couple of hits. Definitely something that we're looking to play, and once you've got a board state set up with protection that's letting you defend and keep things going, you often have the resources available in hand to get this guy down for the second or third time in a game. There is a solid middle tier of protection allies that includes Nova and Brother Voodoo. Both are huge utility cards in the right build, but they just don't have enough overall value, universal value across different decks as these two do. Alright, let's take a look at the events here. There are a lot of awesome events in this aspect, but they are situational and some of them are build dependent. There are a couple of standouts that have broad appeal. Momentum Shift is an all-star. It gives us self-heal and direct damage. This combo is way too hard to pass up. This guy's going to find itself in a lot of new decks. It's probably the best card that has come out for this this aspect in quite some time. Get Behind Me is an oldie but a goodie. This is an all-star card that has a drawback that plays right into our aspect strengths by allowing us to defend extra, which probably isn't a huge consequence if our deck has been built correctly, but it gives us that big upside of canceling when revealed effects, which can end a game quickly. And then finally, I'm a big fan of the resource matching events, so we've got Tackle. It does have the ability to deal a status, and then it deals damage as well if you match the resource type. I find it's not very hard to match the resource type most of the time, even with a generically built deck, not trying to focus down on the one resource. But new cards like Quinn Carrier are also making that a lot easier, and so I find a lot of value in this as well. In the support slot, we've only got 2 cards, and so this is like a head-to-head here. Med Team costs more, but it has a ton of raw value. It's 6 total heal for 3 cost, which is really a 2 heal per individual resource. And then Night Nurse is pulling down 3 heal total, but she only does it for 1 cost, so she's 50% better on that measure than Med Team is. But the thing that makes the difference here is the limitation. Night Nurse is only able to heal heroes, which is great, but allies need love too, and in a deck like a protection build where we might be playing a couple of bigger heroes that we want to have stay on the field, or we play allies, bigger allies that we want to have on the field, I think Med Team's going to edge out the win here, and they're going to get my nod as the better of the 2 of these cards. The upgrade slot has huge value in this aspect, and all 5 options are tier 1 cards. Yes, I'm even counting Armored Vest. Unflappable and Indomitable are both huge value, but situational and build dependent. If you drop out Armor Vest because it's just vanilla power, that's going to leave us with Defensive Stance, which is a good card. It's got this emergency backup safety valve that is strong, and it's going to find a home on pretty much every play surface. If you're playing solo play, you might play several copies of this and just use it regularly, early and often. If you're playing multiplayer, you may play several copies of this and dole them out around the table just to keep everybody safe and happy. If you really want to see an all-star playing at its best, though, you're going to run a full play set of energy barriers, and then just sit back and watch the fun happen, because it is really somewhat astounding how much impact this card can have on a game. But the ability to prevent one damage at a time and redirect it around the table just piles up so quickly. And if you get 2 or 3 of these on the table at a time, you're just peeling damage away from you and dropping it right back on the bad guys. This really does, it can eat away at the minions on the table. It can slowly whittle down your villain. It keeps you alive. This guy is an all-star, and has been since it was printed and put into the playset. So that's going to bring us out to our top 3 for today, and it's really hard to narrow this down to a top 3. I wasn't trying to pick different types of cards to put into this, but I believe we've got a couple of different types here. But honestly, now the new Iron Fist is a fantastic card. He's going to find his way into a lot of builds, even just for the value that he has, and being able to throw out the stun. But the extra damage really puts him over the top, and this is going to be a really fun card to play. So he's coming in at number 3 for me today. Number 2, we're going to have Momentum Shift, a brand new event. It is just huge value. I mean, the 2 heal, this used to cost 1 to be able to just heal, and you didn't get any damage, and we would slide that into decks with First Aid. But now you can play First Aid on steroids, and you can toss the damage onto an enemy. This clears a lot of minions on one swing. This lets incidental damage pile up. It is an attack, so it could take Retaliate if you've got a retaliating minion or villain, but that's not a drawback here. It is a +1 in that case. But I mean, this is a huge card, and it's just going to change, I think, the way that the aspect plays across the table. And then finally, and number 1, of course, if you couldn't guess it, we've got Energy Barrier. A lot of people have said this is the best card in the aspect from the time it was printed. I tend to agree with those folks. This card has pure value, and it's just going to bring us through to a setup that is really going to help us to be, in control of the table. We're not going to be taking damage. We're going to be dealing damage. It really just sets that layer. It's like the first layer of protection, and then in the right protection build, follow that up. You've got defensive boosts. You've got healing. This guy is the start of a great strategy, and is going to really lay the foundation for success in your solo and multiplayer play. And that's going to wrap it up for us today, folks. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think. What are your favorite cards in the protection aspect? Drop those in a comment down below and help us to promote the channel and continue to grow by liking, subscribing, and sharing this video across all of the platforms where you find your Marvel Champions content. And until next time, let's go game.